I've been talking to David about this piece for now 15 months or so. And then once we'd found this, what our subject is, which itself took a little bit of time, it was then a question of working out how the best way of telling this story. Because there's a lot of elements in this story, and you could make almost a whole TV series out of what you have with this. So, and compressing it into an opera, which is only an hour long, that was kind of the key issue. It was kind of what do we take out? What is left? It has to be very concise. So there was some months spent working out what kind of structure we wanted. I knew from quite early on I wanted quite short scenes. So you just see a small incident, a little, I suppose, a key moment or an indication of where their relationship is at the moment, for example. So then it was a question of working out what the story was going to be, and David spending some time just sort of playing with the characters and working out what they were going to be like. How do you represent this man who is simultaneously very charismatic, but also very almost sadistic? I mean, that was probably one of the hardest things to deal with. The women are much more understandable. They're much more human, and I hope more sympathetic in the piece. But getting the balance right, we didn't want him to be a complete monster all the time. I think you had to see that he could win people over, that he could, and he could be seductive. So we spent a long time talking about that and working out ways of doing that. Now, 8-9 months ago, David started sketching out the first few scenes of the piece. And we actually had a few workshops earlier in the year with actors, which was very useful. At one stage, the whole piece was going to be set just in a flat where he'd installed who's now our main character, and there was going to be another woman there, and it was going to be very focused on these two women locked in a flat, who were told not to speak to each other, and would they talk, and there was going to be it's going to be very tense. But very quickly we realised that, and especially after the workshop, that this was far too dark and really oppressive. It might have been okay for one scene, but to have a whole piece doing that, I think it would have been too much. So at that point, I think we realised that we had to try and tell the whole story, even within the short space of time of an hour.